A man once spent over a month completely alone in total darkness. When he finally came out, he was sure only 25 days had passed. He was wrong. It had been 37. His mind had erased 12 entire days of his own life, and he never even felt them disappear. Now imagine that happening to you. Not from a coma, not from a memory disorder, just from darkness. This is the true story of what happens to your brain when the light disappears for good, and it's still shaping how NASA prepares astronauts for Mars. In 1962, a French scientist named Michel Siffre climbed down into a glacier cave in the Alps, 130 meters underground. He brought a tent, a sleeping bag, and enough food to survive for weeks. What he didn't bring was a clock, no calendar, no sunlight. His mission: live completely alone in total darkness for as long as his body could take it, and track every single day by hand. If anyone could keep count in the dark, it should have been him. For the first few days, it actually worked. Siffre would sleep, wake up, eat, work, and mark it down. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Cold stone, one dim lantern, the drip of melting ice somewhere in the dark. But a routine. And if you think your own sense of time is more reliable than his, keep listening, because what happened next didn't just break his clock. It's breaking yours too, right now, more than you'd guess. Somewhere around day 4 or 5, Siffre's days started stretching. 25 hours, then 28. Some stretched past 30, and his brain had no idea. As far as he could tell, he was still living completely normal 24-hour days, marking them down one after another, confident in every entry. So what was actually happening to him? Deep inside your skull, right now, is a tiny cluster of cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Its only job is to track light and tell your body when to feel awake and when to feel tired. It's your internal clock, and it doesn't run on willpower or habit or a wristwatch. It runs on sunlight hitting your eyes every single morning. Take that away, like Siffre did, and the clock doesn't stop. It starts guessing. And it guesses wrong. By week 3, it wasn't just his sense of time that was slipping. He'd forget if he'd already eaten lunch. He'd lose entire conversations with his research team on the radio line to the surface, minutes after hanging up, like someone had reached in and deleted them. And some days, with no warning at all, a wave of depression would hit him so hard he couldn't leave his sleeping bag. The cave wasn't just changing his sleep, it was quietly rewriting who he was. Siffre wasn't alone in discovering this. Around the world, scientists studying sensory deprivation and long polar winters found the same pattern. Starve the brain of light and stimulation for long enough, and it starts filling the silence itself. Sounds that aren't there, shapes moving at the edge of vision, a creeping sense that something is watching. Your mind, it turns out, does not like an empty room. The damage wasn't only mental either. Without light to regulate his hormones, Siffre's melatonin and cortisol drifted completely out of sync. This isn't unique to caves. In a separate study, scientists in Germany sealed volunteers alone in a windowless underground bunker for weeks, cut off from every clue about time. Their sleep and wake cycles slowly split apart from their own body temperature rhythm, sometimes sleeping 12 hours at a stretch, sometimes staying awake for nearly 3 days straight, while their internal temperature clock kept ticking on its own separate, nearly 25-hour schedule. Two systems that are supposed to move together, quietly falling out of step with each other. His appetite changed. His immune system weakened. Even hundreds of feet underground, his body was still trying and failing to find a sunrise. Then came the moment that changed everything. On what Siffre believed was day 25, his team radioed down and told him it was time to come out. He was confused by his own careful count. He still had over a week left. But when he finally climbed back into the sunlight, blinking for the first time in weeks, he learned the truth. It wasn't day 25. It was day 37. 12 entire days of his own life gone. He had felt every single one of them pass, just not enough of them. And here's the part that should really unsettle you. Siffre got off easy. In 1989, an Italian researcher named Stefania Follini spent 130 days completely alone in a cave in New Mexico as part of a NASA-funded study. She lost 25 pounds. Her menstrual cycle stopped entirely. And when she finally emerged, she was certain only about 2 months had passed. The real number was 130 days. Her internal clock hadn't just drifted, it had given up completely. And you don't even need a cave for a taste of this. In towns like Utqiagvik, Alaska, the sun sets in November and doesn't rise again for over 60 days. Locals call it the polar night, and every single year, reported cases of insomnia, anxiety, and depression spike right along with it. And you don't have to fly to the Arctic to feel this either. Ask anyone who's worked the night shift. Flip your sleep schedule against your body's internal clock long enough, and the same misalignment shows up. Enough that the World Health Organization has classified long-term night shift work as a probable carcinogen, not because of any chemical exposure, but because of what chronic circadian disruption does to your cells. Even something as ordinary as a long-haul flight leaves a mark. Studies on flight attendants who cross time zones for years show measurable shrinkage in the part of the brain tied to memory. Your clock isn't just keeping time, it's protecting you, and it expects you to listen to it. This is exactly why NASA takes this research so seriously. On a mission to Mars, astronauts won't have a sunrise or sunset to guide them, just the endless dark of space. So today, spacecraft lighting is engineered specifically to mimic Earth's daylight. Because scientists learned the hard way that without it, the human mind starts to lose its grip on time itself. So back to what I told you earlier. What would actually happen to you? The first couple of days, you'd barely notice. By the second week, your sleep would fracture into disconnected pieces. By the third, your sense of time would start to bend, hours blurring into each other. And if it went on long enough, just like it did for Siffre and Follini, you could lose entire days of your own life without ever realizing they were gone. Light isn't just something you see. It's something your brain depends on to know its place in time. Take it away, and time itself starts to unravel. So the next time the sun comes up, give it a second look. You're relying on it more than you know. How many days do you think you could last before your own clock started to break? Tell me in the comments. And subscribe because every story starts with imagination, and there's a lot more waiting in the dark.